if text is the language of literature, then emojis and GIFs are the language of Messenger. I know that sounds dramatic, and yes, I'm half joking, but there is a kernel of truth in that. Messenger is this space where family and friends communicate with each other in a fun and engaging way, so you should aim to replicate that experience in your bot. So the question is, how do you actually do that? Well, that's what I'll be showing you in this lesson. So let's start on the welcome message here. Of course, you can do this on any block using emojis and GIFs, but let's add a text card because that's where you use emojis. It can be in any sort of plugin that uses text. So in the welcome message here, let's just type hi, first name, we'll greet the user, and let's say we want to give a visual cue of us waving at them. So to do that, if you're on a Windows computer, you type in the Windows key and the period key while your cursor is in that text field, and I will type in wave here. And there we go. I can use that emoji super simply. If you are on a Mac computer, the keyboard shortcut is Control, Command, and Spacebar. So that's how you bring up that emoji window, and then within it you can search and select whatever emoji you so choose. So emojis work great, as you see here in the text card. They can also work and be extraordinarily effective in the call to action buttons that you use as well. So whether that's quick replies or the buttons in the text card right here. So let's show you an example of that with quick replies. I'll delete this text or just the emoji and say, would you like to subscribe? Then I'll add some quick replies here and say either yes or no, but I'll add a visual cue corresponding with those responses. So I'll say yes and add a check mark there, or I'll use a red X, let's say, for no. Awesome. So we have these visual cues set up, these emojis, which are extremely effective. One of the keys here, though, and the best practices is not to overdo the emojis. So what you wouldn't want to do is on this yes one, add a check mark on both sides and do the same for no, or add multiple emojis, add, a down button here with the finger pointing. That's just too excessive. It overstimulates the user. So just be sparing and, as I mentioned earlier, sprinkle in the emojis where you can, but definitely don't overdo them. I'm going to delete these here just so it's not a eyesore for everybody watching this lesson. There we go. Looks much better. So now that we've discussed emojis, let's also talk about GIFs. But before I do, I also want to mention Emojipedia.com because this is a great resource if you still want to use emojis, but you're not a big fan of keyboard shortcuts. So what you can do here on this website, obviously it works for both Windows and Mac computers. I can go here, search for an emoji. Let's say I want to use a cat. I can then click on the emoji I want from this drop-down list, double click to copy, go back into Chatfuel, and then I can obviously paste in that emoji like so. Clearly this is a more cumbersome strategy to use, but it does still work, again, if you really hate keyboard shortcuts. Now let's talk about GIFs, because these are another core component of your chatbot strategy. It's how people communicate with each other, and again, you want to emulate that. So GIFs are really effective, obviously, at showing animated images. They're really helpful for showing how-tos, tutorials, that sort of thing, but also just to be funny and creative. For example, on your default answer, you could use a GIF of something going wrong, suggesting that the user has asked something that the bot can't respond to. So how do you use GIFs? Well, I'm going to go to a website called Giphy, which is one of my favorite GIF resources, although you can also just search for images on Google Images and then filter the file type by animated. Both work, but Giphy is an excellent resource. So let's say that I want a GIF of a cat. I'll search for cat here in the search bar. And let's say that I really love this first one here. So I'll click on that. I can then right click on the image and click Save Image As. Now, I've actually already saved this file to my computer, so I'm going to go into Chatfuel and upload that to show you how it's done. So I will, let's say, I'm going to delete these quick replies here, and I'll add an image plugin, and then from here I can just upload the image that I'd like. So I'll upload that GIF that we downloaded, And there we go. It is important to note here that the GIFs you use are limited in file size to 10 megabytes. That typically shouldn't be a problem unless they're super high quality or very long in length, but most GIFs fall far under that, and if needed, you can also compress the file size to fit it in the bot. Now, let's test this and show you what it looks like, just to show you how it appears on the user side of things. So there we go. Hi, Andrew, would you like to subscribe? And the GIF should be coming any second here. Let's try to retest this. There we go. So this is important to note as well in terms of best practices. Even if the GIF appears here in Chatfuel and it's within that file size limit of 10 megabytes, if it is a larger file, which it appears this one is, it might take a couple seconds to render, so you may want to compress it anyways if that disrupts potentially the user experience, makes them wait, and confuses them in any way. So in closing, this is how to use visual cues in Messenger to further engage your audience. A healthy combination of emojis and GIFs is what will create a successful bot experience.